This does not look like it's going to be easy. Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to the channel. If you're a first-time viewer, my name is Jeff Lanoski. Today we are in my favorite place to ride in the entire world, Sedona, Arizona, and I am at the start of a really cool downhill trail called Bottom Out. If you climb up it, it's called Bottom Up. This trail has some awesome climbing features, so let's take a look at a few of the zones I found. All that stuff is super fun to session and really challenging, but if you want to get to that, you need to go through the ultimate Gatekeeper, which is all the way at the bottom or the start of the climb, and it is nasty. So let's head down there and take a look at what makes it so challenging. Let's ride down and take a look at what we're gonna ride up. Ooh, this looks familiar from Steve's vid. This is some cool rock work. This does not look like it's going to be easy to ride up. That's tight right there. And then here's, yep, that's a section from the vid. And then down and down again. This does not look like it's going to be easy. All right, so if you want to session that stuff up top, you need to get through this Gatekeeper first. So I am a huge fan of the Hardtail Party channel. When Steve introed this move, he showed how it was knee high. Well, Steve is quite a bit shorter than me, so we need to handicap this climb. But this was knee high for Steve. We're gonna find a move that's knee high for me, being 6'4", so. I think we're gonna go for this up out of the wash. Maybe try to incorporate that diving board. All right, now that I called out this move, I gotta see if I could actually do it. That's probably about 33 inches or so. All right, so unlock the first section that worked, step up, and then up the diving board. Gonna try that again and see if I could make it into the next section. The second part, they said it's impossible. It looks impossible to me. I'm not questioning that. Right here, I was like an inch off the side. I just trapped under that rock. Game plan this time, instead of going up here above this little ridge, I'm gonna try to hang it outside a little bit more and go to the bottom of that ridge and see if that makes a difference. I can see why Steve said this is impossible. All right, the struggle continues. So the first section worked out. We'll go back and count the takes. I think that was 7, 8 tries, I think. and Steve showed in his video, your bar is barely fit coming down. You don't really fit coming up, so we're gonna have to session this and figure this section out. So you physically can't come up here because you got this right here, and then if you go to avoid that, there's nothing for your back tire, and then you're here. So I'm wondering, the move might be to climb up back into that pocket and then come straight forward. Believe it or not, this section right here is going to be pretty tricky because right here I need to change my gears. That works. So I'm going to take a breather right here, try to get my heart rate under control before I head into the next section so I'm not gassed. Finally, something you could pedal on, some flat ground. So I got about room for 2 pedal strokes in here, and then it's onto this rock. So the trick for this lower section is to just be real smooth. Take this line through here, and then you want to ride up. You go right on the nose of this rock, which is kind of tricky, but these are all perfectly wheelbase based rocks. The traction's so good that once you get about here, if you can get your back tire onto that, you could easily pedal up the top. The most impossible version is going to be to try to string all 3 of these sections together all in one piece. So let's take a look at the video and let me walk you through what made this so particularly difficult, aside from just this gnarly terrain. I started with this handlebar height step up. That required me to start in a harder gear than I wanted to be at the end. So somewhere along the line, I was going to need to change my gears. Since I did that handlebar height step up and I needed to sprint at the first big obstacle, I had to take a straighter line, which made it a little bit trickier to get in there. And by the middle of that first section, I was already gassed. So luckily I found a little bit of a wheel lock, took a little bit of a breather, got composed, and continued on. This elevation up here, the heat, everything also made this ride extra hard. When I got through that section, I needed to make a gear change, so you could hear that right here. And then after bashing my knuckles and my shoulder on this tree, I realized the only way I was gonna get it was by backing into the corner and taking a different line. So that set me up, and there was a tiny little rock in front of my tire that made this really difficult. Caught my breath a little bit because I knew I was gonna be pretty smoked by the end. So I was just making sure I managed my breathing and stuff like that. After that, getting through the tree was actually one of the trickiest parts, just because I physically don't even fit through it. Finally, something you could pedal on, some flat ground. So I got about room for 2 pedal strokes in here. And then I go into this final section, but I went in full protection mode with 25 years of trials experience. The safest way for me to get this far and not screw up is to just hop and balance. So I hopped these first few sections, and then once I got to a spot where I can get in some cranks, I finished it out, and then almost died at the top from breathing so heavy.
Yeah! Hell yeah, Jeff.
That took a ton of work, and I'm super stoked to link this whole entire thing together. And for 2 of my favorite YouTubers, Steve from Hardtail Party and Jeff Candleweed, both incredible riders, to get out here on hardtails as well and try this, and for it to give them the trouble that it did, and for it to give me the trouble that it did, it took a lot of tries and effort. So thank you so much for watching it. I guess this is the new Sedona challenge. Until next time, get out there and be a boss.